I'm licking my lips one last time, but the flavor's gone back to just my taste. Should've left me confused. Did I like it only cause it was new? Honey, look what you got me into. Maybe sugar could be good for you. She's cotton candy. Going up the sky's cotton candy.
Hi everyone, it's April here. Welcome to my panel dedicated to my series Candy. I've received so many interesting questions, and I shall do my best not to yap too much and answer all of them. Without further ado, let's get into it. Starshoes asks, Candy is such a fantastic show. The story, cinematography, and color grading are absolutely beautiful, and it's clear how much hard work went into it. I've been a fan of your work for years, and I know that for Candy you made the switch from The Sims 3 to The Sims 4. How did you find the transition? So first of all, thank you so much, I really appreciate it. It wasn't just Candy that made me switch to The Sims 4, it was also all the issues that I had with The Sims 3. Because let's be honest, this game is quite problematic. It took me so long to even load this game, and then I would enter the cast and it was a nightmare. It made me so impatient, and I didn't even have that much of the custom content. I had only 20 gigabytes. It's not that much. I have like 5 times more of it in The Sims 4 and this game works way better. So as you can imagine, I was quite done with this game and I told myself that if I ever want to continue filming and creating machinimas, then I have to make this decision. Another thing, I couldn't really see this series working in The Sims 3. I don't think the graphic style would suit the vibe I was going for. I had a very specific vision for how I wanted it to look. And with The Sims 4, it's much easier to find custom content that fits any aesthetic. When I first opened the game, I had no idea what was going on. I hadn't played much before, so naturally, I was pretty confused. It's better now, though there are still a lot of features I don't fully understand. But in the end, it was totally worth it. Can you imagine your series in a different Sims game than The Sims 4? I don't think so. I believe Candy was meant to be a Sims 4 series from the very beginning. It just wouldn't have the same vibe in The Sims 3. Plus, I would definitely struggle to find the right custom content, like Y2K inspired decor or clothing based on current trends. It was pretty hard to find anything like that in The Sims 3. What made you switch to The Sims 4 for this project? Did you ever consider making it in The Sims 3? Have you tried making Candy or any other characters in The Sims 3? I've already explained why I switched to The Sims 4, but did I ever consider making Candy in The Sims 3? Back when I was still filming only in The Sims 3, I had no idea I would ever create this series, like, at all. But at some point, I did start wondering what it might look like in that game. That was around 2018 when the idea was still very new. Back then, Candy had a completely different aesthetic, more like Tumblr 2015 with high contrast and a color palette full of beiges and grays. The plot was meant to be darker, and it was definitely less layered. It was a totally different concept. And honestly, the only thing the old version shares with the current one is the main character's name. And that's it. I managed to find a couple of photos. I think some are from the MEP part, and the rest are just random screenshots from the game. Scream asks, I'm curious about the inspirations behind Candy. Were there any particular influences, like pop culture or real-life events, that played a role in its creation? Could you tell us more how the concept developed and how these influences impacted the series? And are there any fun callbacks or Easter eggs hidden within the show? I was mostly inspired by real-life events, but there are also a lot of pop culture influences. Back in 2018, when the idea first popped into my head, I used to listen to a ton of fan-made Marina albums playlists on YouTube. You know, the ones with her unreleased songs or covers. One of them was titled Candy Heart, and I think that's where the name for the character came from. For a long time, the story was just a teeny tiny idea. The concept for the series had developed a lot since then. I think it sorta grew up with me. I mean, once you're an adult and you've lived a bit, you've got more experiences that feel worth talking about. Especially in the last 2 years, so much has happened that made me rethink a lot of things, and that definitely led to some changes in the story. Oh, and the Easter eggs. Yeah, there are some. I've dropped references to memes, political movements, and even a few real-life places. Blossom Creek isn't a real town, but it was inspired by a real city. There will also be some nods to celebrities, and even to some of my older projects. So yeah, stay tuned! Luna asks, firstly, I hope you're doing great. I want to ask the meaning of the mask she puts on her face in the thumbnail. Can we say she's portraying differently than she is? A big part of the story is Candy's dream of becoming an actress. And it wasn't just, a cool storyline idea. I actually thought that in her case, wanting to become an actress would make a lot of sense. It even becomes pretty symbolic later in the story. But honestly, I think even by episode 2, it's already kind of clear what I was going for. Obviously, Candy isn't a reliable narrator, and that's exactly why acting suits her so well. What should we expect from Candy and in the near future? I think it's going to be best if we all collectively agree not to have any concrete expectations for Candy. I could literally go on and say things like, oh, for sure I'll be done with episode 3 by the end of this year, or I promise I'll be faster with the production process. But I've made those promises before, and you know what? You never really know. One day, you might feel super inspired and write like 20 pages of the script in one sitting, and then the next day, your body randomly decides to ban you from using your dominant hand for 6 weeks. So yeah, things happen. What I can confirm is that the story will shift a bit. I've decided to focus more on the most important themes, and I want to make future episodes a little shorter. Episode 3 will still be quite long, since the script is around 50 pages. Also, I have a confession to make. I kind of lied to you all, at least when it comes to the original synopsis of the series. Some people probably expected a full-on melodrama, and while it does have elements of that, that's not really the tone of every episode. There were things I wanted to explore that were quite interesting to me, like what it's like to suddenly have to adjust to big, unexpected changes in your life, or how hard it is to accept a version of your reality that feels so far from the one you imagined. It's like you've written this perfect future for yourself, this beautiful, well-crafted screenplay, and then the fate shows up, tells you to sit the F down, and declares itself the new editor-in-chief. There were so many things I wanted to include, and naturally, since I can't have everything all at once, some plots had to be pushed aside a bit. But one thing that is staying the same, and something that's common across most characters, is this. Living in Blossom Creek feels like sitting on a ticking bomb. You never know what's going to happen there. What has been a challenging part in the production of Candy? I think the most challenging part is that I change my mind about everything constantly. I'm the type of person who will rewrite her stuff 5 times and then once again, just because I keep thinking about different possibilities. Like, what if this character did something totally different? Or what if they ended up with someone else entirely, not the person I originally planned? Sometimes the new ideas just win over the old ones, and I end up rewriting everything, as long as it doesn't create plot holes for the episodes I've already published. I also really struggled with figuring out what's still relatable and meaningful to potential viewers, and what's just way too over the top or too personal to the point that no one would really get what was going on. Sometimes you have to find a balance, or maybe just find a different way to present your idea. Eventually, I came to the conclusion that it's okay if some parts aren't relatable. Actually, I think it's good if most of the story isn't relatable to you. Like, I genuinely wish you can't relate to most of the stuff in Candy. Because if you can, I don't know, seek help. What's your process for developing believable, complex Sims characters? Why do you ask me that? I just take little bits and pieces from my own experiences or from people I know, not in a way that would call anyone out. And then I somehow put it all together. One thing I can say for sure, every character has to want something, even if it's something small, but it's like a very basic thing everyone would tell you. But it's true, it just feels realistic, you know? And here is what you shouldn't do. In the past, I had this tendency to add a lot of characters just because they were hot, which, yeah, not a great idea. Sometimes it's way better to merge a few of them into one more complex, layered character. I also love contradictions, especially when a character's personality traits make it difficult for them to let go of toxic thoughts or achieve their goals. That tension is just so interesting to watch unfold. What makes a great Sims Machinima, in your opinion? I love machinimas that show me something I haven't seen before. Whether it's a unique plot, a type of character we don't usually get in media, or just a fresh take on familiar themes. I really appreciate being surprised. And fortunately, this community is just full of surprises. For me, a great Sims Machinima isn't just about the story itself. Sometimes I can feel when a creator has put their whole heart into their work. I love when creators are excited about their works and keep posting about them. It's really so wholesome. What makes Machinima different from big real-life productions is that most of the time we work alone. That means we can put more of ourselves into what we create. perfect. There's no one telling you to change your idea just to make it easier for the mass audience to digest. No bosses or executives trying to censor or reshape your vision. Well, maybe except YouTube algorithms. How do you think characters from Candy would act in a zombie apocalypse? This is such an amazing question. Oh my god. Okay, so let's see how the characters of Candy would do during the zombie apocalypse. I have a gut feeling Candy would be the only one who wouldn't totally freak out. I mean, she's been through worse already. Zombie apocalypse. Please, it got nothing on her. She'd probably pick some weird statue as her main weapon and have a little meltdown when her concealer runs out. Arabella would reconnect with some of the most unhinged gangsters just to fight zombies. She would take down a ton of them while still looking hot. And in her free time, she would probably open a small casino to keep everyone entertained and rake in some profits. Jiyeon wouldn't be as scared as people might think. Before the apocalypse, she was doing her teaching apprenticeship. Watching all those corridor fights taught her a few useful moves she now uses to fight zombies. Rory would be the only one who's actually prepared. She's been waiting for this moment forever, thanks to her conspiracy theory obsession on Reddit. Everyone called her crazy, but now, she's the only one laughing. Joanna will be busy documenting the apocalypse history in her notebook. Once it's all over, she'll get a call from a famous director, wanting to turn her notes into an Oscar-winning documentary. Toby, he's still waiting for Sanvi to text back. Meanwhile, he's teaming up with Rory to build a radio system to communicate with survivors. They actually make it work. But thanks to Toby's bad luck, everyone keeps ghosting them. And Blue, nobody really knows why, but she's insanely good at zombie fighting. One day, just for the plot, she randomly blows up a gas station. In the end, I think everyone would survive. I just don't really like killing my characters. Thank you so much for watching my panel. I had so much fun making it, and I love SMAC so much. I know I say this every year, but SMAC is truly a blessing for our community. Huge thanks to everyone involved in creating it. Enjoy the rest of the convention, and see you next year. Bye bye!